Hey folks, welcome back to Ndaba Africa here on today, 15 August 2020. And we've just seen a short while ago the announcement, the speech by President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa, in which it seems Cyril, the National Coronavirus Command Council, and the ruling African National Congress have surrendered, or have they? Actually, what's happened is they have declared a ceasefire in their endless assault on the liberties and freedoms of South Africans here on the 15th of August, 2020. We're going to talk about that and discuss the impact of what's happening now in South Africa with the lockdown as the ANC, the NCC, and Cyril declare a ceasefire. Well, folks, the damage has been done. 140 plus days of this capricious lockdown, not based on science, not based on fact, but based on speculation, supposition, muti, and otherwise magic. Who knows where they get their ideas from. Certainly it's in conflict with their own medical practitioners who've been advising against these lockdown conditions for some time now, against the courts which declared much of the lockdown to be unconstitutional, yet the African National Congress and its National Coronavirus Command Council have yet to rescind those restrictions. But relief is on the way, folks, ladies and gentlemen, in South Africa. On Monday, just a couple of days from now, 2 days from now, South Africa will drop to level 2 nationwide for the lockdown. But the damage has been done. The commercial aviation industry, dead. South African Airways will emerge a shadow of what it once was, if it even emerges through bankruptcy, with just 9 aircraft and less than 2,000 employees. A sad, sad state of affairs. Comair, which was forced to go into business rescue, a euphemism for bankruptcy proceedings in order to protect itself because the government of the African National Congress refused to allow it to fly domestically, so it couldn't make any money moving people about, pushing them to the verge of genuine bankruptcy. They're also in desperate straits this time. So the commercial aviation industry destroyed in South Africa. Thank you, African National Congress. The tourism industry destroyed. There was a tourism relief fund, but the race-based policies of which only granted relief funds to majority-owned businesses, in other words, black-owned businesses in South Africa. So any white, Indian, or colored-owned business was prohibited from receiving any funds to overcome this crisis at the same time that the government forced them to close. It forced them to close and to put their employees, make them redundant, put them on furlough. It allowed only majority-owned businesses. Now, the majority of businesses in the tourism sector are minority-owned businesses for historical reasons, and the majority of their employees are actually black South Africans. So whom do we help with that? Thank you, ANC, for destroying tourism in South Africa, one of the biggest contributors to the gross domestic product of South Africa. What a boneheaded, moronic, idiotic decision that was, particularly to keep it going for over 140 days. Stupid beyond belief. The hotel, restaurateur, and pub industry has been grievously crippled by this ban. The alcohol industry has been severely crippled by this as well, not the least of which was the damage done to South Africa's wine industry and its reputation abroad by becoming an unreliable supplier when the government foolishly, without any thought or strategic planning, banned the transport of alcohol. Why did they do that? The outcome of that was that the government or the vintners could not ship their wine to port and put it on ships or planes to fly around the world or ship around the world, thereby becoming unreliable suppliers for wine merchants around the world, damaging South Africa's reputation and affecting the wine industry grievously. There are good signs, though. If you work in the illicit trades such as tobacco and alcohol, those have flourished. Those selling alcohol and those smuggling cigarettes in from Zimbabwe and other places are flourishing, making lots of money. Meanwhile, the state is losing billions of rand of revenue every single day from the lockdown on tobacco and alcohol. 250,000 law-abiding South Africans have been made criminals, often by violating capricious, nonsensical, not based in law dictates from the NCCC. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. People walking onto the lawns being arrested by SAPS or the South African National Defence Force, SANDF, and being incarcerated or charged, and now seeing their cases come to the docket here in August, 3 months after people were arrested in the early stages of lockdown. But over 250,000 law-abiding South Africans turned into criminals. Now, what's ironic is that many of the things that were in this lockdown provision were declared unconstitutional by the court. Yet these court cases proceed. Shameful. So with a criminal record, people won't be able to find employment, immigrate abroad. What is the purpose of this? For sitting in your yard, for walking with your child on a beach. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. It is the totalitarian state run amok. Meanwhile, murder, rape, farm attacks, and rural insecurity continue at a pace that's picked up immensely. Imagine what's going to happen when the lockdown is eased on Monday with level 2. 3 to 6 million South Africans have been made redundant or lost their jobs. Many of them will never see those jobs ever again, as thousands of businesses have gone out of business. Not to mention those who are unable to pay their rents, thereby causing the collapse of landlords and owners of rental properties. 140 plus days, ladies and gentlemen. There you have it. But it's not over, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about the impact of lockdown level 2, what it actually means for South Africa. Let's just go through that very quickly and talk about some of the points that Cyril Ramaphosa brought up earlier when he announced that they were going to level 2 on Monday. So, for instance, as of Monday, tobacco will be legal again. The 11 to 12 million tobacco users in South Africa, which are predominantly smokers, but not entirely. Some are pipe, some are snuff, some are also chew tobacco, but mostly smokers will now be able to purchase alcohol legally and not have to buy the dodgy cigarettes of questionable provenance and origin that come from abroad that are not taxed and who knows where the profits are going. You can now purchase cigarettes legally from stores in South Africa. Now, the basis for that tobacco ban was unreasonable. The South African government claimed that it would increase the number of cases of COVID-19 with no scientific data to back up that claim whatsoever. They stuck to this ban for the entire time. Tobacco was lifted for a period of weeks and then reimposed, alcohol was lifted for a period of weeks and then reimposed, but tobacco has had a ban since March 27th. Outrageous nonsense. Also damaged South Africa's small tobacco industry as well. It's 185 or so commercial farmers and nearly as many small-scale farmers in the tobacco industry in South Africa. Horrific damage to that industry. So there'll be a lot of rejoicing in the tobacco industry, hopefully, as they see this ban lifted on Monday. Along with the lift on the alcohol ban, we now see a lift on alcohol ban. So as of Monday, as I predicted, it was likely this ban would be lifted, but with extremely curtailed trading standards. So you can purchase alcohol at a package store or a place that sells alcohol starting on Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. If you can't get it before 5 p.m. or if your supplier runs out, you're tough noogies, you're not getting any alcohol. In addition, probably one of the most welcome signs of relief from the level 2 stage of the lockdown, decreasing nationwide to level 2, is that now restaurants, bars, pubs, and taverns can serve alcohol. But they only serve it until 10 o'clock, which is going to present a problem, ladies and gentlemen. In effect, it means you have to stop serving alcohol by 9 or 9:30 p.m. because there's a curfew that remains in effect. The curfew from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. across South Africa remains in effect. So if you're in a pub, you can't order beer at 9:59, even though it's legal, because you couldn't possibly drink it in 1 minute and magically teleport yourself home like that. So it's going to cause all kinds of problems. Not to mention the server who's giving you the beer has to be home at 10 o'clock as well. So we're going to have a lot of violations of people who've been told they can stay open till 10 o'clock and then are criminalized because they went home after 10 o'clock. So there's nonsense involved there. They're going to have to take a look at that and take a closer look about what they're talking about. So what else? Gatherings of more than 50 people are banned. So if you go to a restaurant, including the wait staff, the servers, the greeters at the front desk, the cleaning staff, the kitchen staff, all of these people count in that total 50. So you can't have 50 people in a restaurant. Sports can have no spectators. So Currie Cup will continue or restart in September, but will be no spectators as we expected. Not an unreasonable expectation. The government also, President Ramaphosa, advises people if you don't have to go anywhere to don't stay at home. That's not unreasonable. That's a reasonable expectation there. But that's also taking place. So the ban on provincial travel is lifted now. People can travel between provinces without any concerns about sanctions. But what hasn't changed, ladies and gentlemen? The government's still recommending people wear a face covering regardless of any scientific proof of the value of it whatsoever. They are also recommending social distancing maintained, despite the fact that 6 feet accomplishes nothing, 2 meters doesn't protect you against anything, since a sneeze or cough travels far further than that. Nonetheless, we're going to continue with this myth and this fantasy that will make a difference in your life and protect you from a virus. For those who are terrified of it unrealistically or living in a hysterical world, I suppose that makes you feel better, and that's fine. I don't discourage anybody from that. If you want to wear it, feel free to wear it, but it doesn't protect you. And it gives you no right to invade my space by coming close to me because you have a facial covering. It doesn't protect me against your virus if you have it. So please maintain your social distance from me, whether you're here or in South Africa. And it also doesn't address the issue of taxis and combis, ladies and gentlemen. There's no mention by Cyril Ramaphosa about standards on combis. Now, he did say that, and also no mention of schools. No mention about what's happening with schools. So it's interesting to see this come about. We would have expected some discussion of transportation industry, particularly combis and taxis, as well as schools, and no discussion of that whatsoever. But anyway, folks, that's a little update about what's going on in South Africa with Cyril Ramaphosa on the 15th of August, 2020 as the ANC has surrendered. No, they didn't surrender, ladies and gentlemen. They have declared a ceasefire in their war on South Africans. But there were ominous warnings in the ceasefire message from Ramaphosa, including that they're going to use this excuse to radically transform South Africa's economy. You can read between the lines there, ladies and gentlemen. You can expect to see more race-based discrimination coming in South Africa in an effort to destroy businesses, to pilfer, and to give to the elite cadres who are connected to the ANC. And this shameful practice must be exposed to the world, and these shameful politicians must be revealed for who they are. Race merchants and people who are not loyal to South Africa, but loyal to the ANC. That's right. Party over people, not people first. That's the African National Congress. But they're not alone. That's the system in South Africa. And it's a shameful system, one that must be amended and adjusted in order to represent all South Africans, whether they come from the Northern Cape and they're San, or they come from KwaZulu-Natal and happen to be Zulu, Eastern Cape being Xhosa, or from somewhere in the High Veld and they're an Afrikaans-speaking South African, or maybe a Cape Colored. It doesn't matter where you come from. Your government should represent all South Africans, not, as Sir Ramaphosa famously says, our 50 million people. There are 58 million people in South Africa legally. 58 million people, Cyril, not 50 million. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my video for a rundown and a summary and update of the changes under level 2 lockdown for South Africa, coming in the midst of Cyril Ramaphosa's announcement that on Monday, the 17th of August, South Africa will lower their standards to level 2, which will resume alcohol sales, and tobacco sales will be legal once again. Let's see what that does to the illicit tobacco traders as we go forward. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not a subscriber to this channel, I ask you to take a second and become a subscriber by smashing that subscription button right down there. Be sure to toggle that bell icon because that gives you notifications whenever I do an update of videos like this and my live streams. And I want to thank you for your patronage and for your viewing. Feel free to leave a comment. I do my best to read all the comments. And finally, smash that like button. Likes drive viewership. Thank you so much, folks. Have a pleasant day. God bless.